this morning, Francis Romero, he, I believe, covers the international game, has sources internationally, and gets some stuff right. Writes here, hearing from multiple sources that the Padres are out on Roki Sasaki. They will begin their international signings of Yon De La Cruz and Carlos Alvarez in the next few hours. I then saw Will Salmon of The Athletic mention that the Padres are signing the latter, Carlos Alvarez. And I'm not going to act like I know anything about those two guys, De La Cruz or Carlos Alvarez. To me, this is obviously about Roki Sasaki. And if Jeff Passan doesn't tweet it, then, I'm refusing to believe the Padres are out on Roki Sasaki. But if they are signing Carlos Alvarez, it does lead you to believe that they would be out on Roki Sasaki. But then part of my mind wants me to believe, like, hey, maybe he likes the Padres doing this. It's obviously not about the money for him. Maybe he's like, hey, they're just trying to build the best team around me. I'll go there. It seems like it's going to be the Dodgers. I'd be shocked if it's the Blue Jays, to be quite honest, because there is development with the Dodgers, obviously, and he can be on a winner. And he may not have as big of a spotlight on him because he will and won't. Like, there's so many pitchers there that obviously a six-man rotation could happen there. He's also in the spotlight with Ohtani and Yamamoto, but he's not looked upon as the ace of that rotation or like the savior of that rotation, at least as of now. And with the Padres, that's more of what it would look like. But yeah, this sucks. If this is actually correct and Francis is correct, again, no disrespect to him, but Jeff Passan doesn't tweet out that he's hearing from multiple sources. He just says, like, no, this is factual. He'll say sources tell ESPN or something, but he's saying, like, no, this is happening. I'm not totally getting this from this tweet. And I think this is just the Padre fan and me not wanting to believe this. So again, like, Francis, no disrespect to you. I'm just not seeing Passan tweet this right now, and I don't want to believe it. So yeah. But obviously, if this doesn't happen and he goes to the Dodgers, it will just make this offseason worse for the Padres. Dodgers just win the World Series. The Padres, we know what has gone on with the ownership, and they haven't made a big league addition. They did just sign Martin Maldonado to a minor league deal, which I like that. Like, you can't not like that. It's a minor league deal. Veteran catcher, has World Series postseason experience as well. I think that can only be good for the Padres. But yeah, no major moves yet. And I think a lot of it has been waiting on this Roki Sasaki thing, because then that can change how the Padres operate with the amount of money that they spend. And do they need to go get an additional rotation arm? How do they go about getting that? And then there's still guys like Profar out there. So there will be a lot to discuss. But of the Padres and Dodgers, obviously the Padres were the team that needed Roki the most. The Dodgers do not need Roki Sasaki. They have a bunch of talent, obviously. They have a bunch of starters. I know that they have a lot of injuries too. So that, as we saw this past year, that rotation can dwindle to, having to put together some bullpen games in the postseason. But on paper right now, clearly the Padres need Roki Sasaki more, not just in the rotation and what that looks like compared to the Dodgers, but because of financially. The Padres are handicapped, clearly. The Dodgers, while having big contracts like the Padres do, they only went out and then gave Blake Snell a big contract. And they signed Michael Conforto and gave Teoscar Hernandez a contract. And I'm probably forgetting other moves that they've made. The Padres, literally, they haven't done any of that. They can't do, they're not giving $100+ million contracts out to free agents. It's just not going to happen. So, yeah, this is going to be a bummer. I mean, this guy throws over 100, 23 years old, could be ace of your rotation in the future, and he wasn't going to be making much money because it would be a Shohei Ohtani Angel situation where it's going to be, the 6 years minor league deal technically, and then, the arbitration years obviously in the back half, and he would be cheap. And that would be so huge for this Padres team. And all the talk, really, pretty much all the talk this offseason has been about the Padres potentially getting Roki Sasaki and how huge that would be. AJ Preller mentioned Roki Sasaki at Peter Seidler's memorial. His name was in that lawsuit that we, talked about. What was that, a couple weeks ago? Was that last week? I'm losing track of time. But yeah, this sucks. This is not a good way to start off the morning. But I'm hoping that Francis is wrong. And again, no disrespect to him, but I'm hoping that what he is hearing ends up being incorrect, and Roki Sasaki can end up making his way to the Padres, and he's not just going to be a visitor to Petco Park, but that will be his home. Obviously, got our hopes up when we saw the videos of him throwing at Petco Park and moving around at Petco Park in front of AJ Preller and Joe Musgrove, and I'm assuming other Padres stars. But then he saved the Dodgers, it seems like, for last. This could end up how it could be being, right? The finalists and the finishing places. He went to Toronto third to last, I should say. So he went there first. They finished third place. He went to the Padres second. They finished second place, and he finished with the Dodgers, and that could be his landing spot. So the Dodgers don't need more help. And if Roki ends up going there, then that's just going to make, you would think, who knows if he's going to adjust to Major League Baseball, but it sure seems like he will. That's just going to make the Padres' job even tougher. AJ Preller, though, last offseason, he dealt with unique circumstances and caps on what he can do. And he's going to have to operate that way, regardless of if they get Sasaki or not. So I am curious to see what moves he makes following this. And if something becomes official today, then hopefully I'll have the time to go live tonight to talk about this more. But yeah, that's what I've got right now. Obviously, Sasaki, the best Japanese pitcher available right now. And this one is going to sting because it feels like all we've been waiting on is Sasaki. And now he could end up he could go to the Blue Jays, but it seems like he would go to the Dodgers.